Okay, today we're going to make a banana bread. So I've got lots of dark bananas that are the best to use if you want to make banana bread. So this is what they look like, but this is good. And they were just been in the fridge. And so I'm just going to peel them. And then we're going to put them into the food. First thing off, I'm going to get an apron, put it on. And just to keep everything clean. And then I'm going to use my mixer. You don't have to, but more than likely, most of you have mixers of some sort. If you don't, you can mix it by hand with a spoon. That's okay too. So we're just going to take the banana and we're going to put it in here. And see, it looks pretty gross, but actually it makes the best banana bread. It's got lots of flavor in it. And then I'm going to put it in my recycling bin. Here's my, now this recipe calls for 4 bananas. So I got 2. They still smell good. So yeah, they're okay. Like I say, it really makes good banana bread. So normally people wouldn't eat them if they're this bad, but they're not really bad. They're just dark because I put them in the freezer or in the fridge. So then the skin turns dark. Now I'm going to find a recipe out of my cookbooks here. And I looked online, but there was some different ones and I'm not sure if I like them. So I'm going to pick one. And I'll probably use honey in my recipe if I like using honey, but you can use sugar too. Let's see if I can find. I could do muffins. I like doing bread or loaves or something. And then later we're going to do a rhubarb crisp because I've got some fresh rhubarb as well. So I'll play with that and see what happens. Strawberry banana smoothie, we could do that too, but it's better to put those dark bananas into a, just going to put on pause for a minute. Okay, so now I did find a recipe. And you can see there it says banana bread on the top, and I'm going to double that recipe because I've got 4 bananas and 1 cup usually only makes 1 cup. 1 cup makes 2 bananas make 1 cup. So I will get this recipe to you as well. Okay. Just so happens this is a regular, local history book, recipe book. And this Linda Scheibner I went to school with, so it makes it a little bit more special. So we have 1/4 cup of margarine. Now I don't like using margarine, I like using butter because butter is real. And margarine is not real, it's plastic. So I don't like using plastic in my cooking. So I'm going to use a cup, measuring cup here. So I need 1/4 cup, so I'm just going to I'm going to do 1/2 cup if I've got the measuring for that. So I'm just going to use 1/2 cup. Okay. But if you're dead set on using margarine, then I guess you can use margarine, but I don't use it in any of my recipes. I don't cook with it. I don't eat it. Because when margarine first came out, it was a pale color, and I was a kid in school still, and we were taking swimming lessons at my aunt's house. And I remember that icing, that margarine, we had to add color to it. It was the color of oranges. That really, really bright orange. We had to add color to it in order to make it look right. And I've just always thought of that, and I've just never used margarine since then. 'Cause I thought, no, man, can't be good for you. You have to add this coloring to it to make it look like butter. Now, this calls for 2/3 of a cup of honey. And I've also added the bananas. So I'm going to add one more banana to that to make actually, let's see. Yeah, I'm going to add one more banana to that one. Then I'll have the 4 bananas that it called for in that original recipe, because I think that's a good idea. Okay. Now, I saw something else that you can use these banana peels for. Apparently, if you boil the skin in a little bit of water and use this water, it's a good thing for you. I'm not sure if it was a weight loss or just a good healthy thing, because then they put a teaspoon of apple cider vinegar in it, and I think a teaspoon of lemon juice and a teaspoon of honey. So, and then they added the water, about 1/4 of a cup of water, this banana water to it. So this thing here is a big container of honey. I buy it bulk because it costs less, and we have a local honey farm not too far away, so I buy it, yeah, in a big quantity because I use lots of it. Now, this adds for 2/3 of a cup. Now that seems like an awful lot of honey, so sometimes I alter the recipe a little bit. So actually, I'm only going to put 1/3 in there, and that'll be the 2/3 for the whole recipe, because that seems a little bit too sweet for me. So I do alter them a little bit if they seem like they're a little bit off, and that's okay, as long as you're aware that you've altered the recipe a little bit. So there's 1/3. So we're going to pour that in here like this. Scrape it off. Now we're going to do it another one. Just and it's been so hot and humid here that this honey has melted. Normally it would be hard, and so we'd have to melt it a little bit before we put it into the recipe. But so you'll know that if it's 100% honey, if it gets hard in your container. Otherwise, they've added a little bit of liquid to it, and it's not pure honey to make it liquid all the time. So that's how you know that it's pure honey, because it solidifies in the container when it cools off. Okay, so we've got the bananas in there, the butter, and the honey. So now I'm going to put the honey away. And that's 15 pounds of honey. That's quite a bit of honey. But I easily use it in the different recipes that I make, and or jams and jellies that I make in the fall. Ooh. Like, oops, okay, that's okay. I just spilled the milk. My grandson's been drinking milk for his cereal, and he's been staying with us for the last 2 weeks, as well as his dad working on the farm. So now I want to get a cup so that we break the eggs right into a cup rather than right into the bowl, because you never know when there might be an egg that isn't quite right. Break it in first. It looks okay. And then you can also, if you've got shells in it or anything, you can take them out as well. Good practice. Put that in there. Oh, I did have a shell in there and I didn't see it until the very last. Until it was already in there. Okay, now I got it. I think. Nope, didn't get it yet. Okay. There, see, I got the shell. No, that's okay if to do it that way if it's your own food and nobody else is eating it except for you. But normally I would have just taken that knife and put it in there first without putting my hand in there. Now I'm doubling the recipe, so I need to put 6 eggs in here. Now, I don't know why that got into the first one because I thought I was pretty careful. But, you know, things happen. Two, three, four, 5, 6. Right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, it's only 5. 6. 6 eggs. So this will give me 2 banana loaves. Or 1. Okay. Now we have 2 cups of mashed bananas. All right, what did I do with this? I'm going to cream all this stuff together. Okay, I should have melted my butter, but it's going to be okay. It'll be all right. Well, once we get everything in it, and I'll just mix it up. It'll be fine. Okay. So it doesn't look exactly how it's supposed to look, but this is what happens when you don't mix the butter and that you don't melt the butter before you're in on it. I wasn't really thinking about that, but that's okay. It's just going to be a banana loaf. It's not like it's anything serious. If this happens to you, it's okay. No problem. It's the way she goes sometimes. Okay, 1/3 a cup of water. 1/3 a cup of water. 1/3 a cup of water. Okay, I'm gonna put that there. Grab a 1/3 of a cup of water. 2/3 actually. 2/3 of a cup of water. And I'm just getting water from my filter, so you don't use water from my tap for, it's just well water, and it doesn't work always the best for cooking and stuff, so. So 2/3 of a cup of water, 2 teaspoons of vanilla. Okay. 2 teaspoons of baking powder. Now, you know what I'm going to do here? I'm going to add my flour first because I didn't get that butter mixed up. So. As you notice, I'm just kind of doing this as an impromptu video. I didn't have everything ready for the video. I just thought, oh, I might as well do a video today. See how it works out. So it's kind of convoluted, but we'll see what happens. So I'm going to use 2 cups of flour, and then, like I said, I like to change the recipe up so it's a little healthier. So I'm going to add 2 cups of oatmeal. Like I say, I'll get you the recipe. I'll send you all the recipe when you sign up for my cooking show. So I want 2 cups of oatmeal. And this is quick oats. That way you don't have to soak it in water before it's already kind of rolled fine. So it's kind of whatever I have in the house. I like to add to it to make it a little bit more healthy. And then I'm also going to add, instead of skim milk powder, I'm going to add some sour cream that I had left over. Like I said, I like using what I already have in the fridge, and I'd like to use it up. So we're going to add 1/2 cup of sour cream. There you go, see? So we're just going to add that all in here. This is kind of an impromptu recipe that I'm kind of changing as I go along here through the recipe. So as to what I have in the fridge and what I have in my cupboard. Well, like I say, it's easy for you to do the same. Like instead of using the skim milk powder, use sour cream. Or if you happen to have yogurt, you can use yogurt instead. So you don't have to go out and buy extra things to make the recipe. So Works out good that way. All right, so now I'm going to add 2 teaspoons of baking powder. Actually, it'll be 4 because I'm making double the recipe. So, teaspoon. And I'm just going to use a regular teaspoon, so I just won't make it heaping or anything. I'm just going to level it off. It'll just be a level teaspoon. 2, 3, 4. 4 teaspoons of baking powder. Turn on the oven. Now 2. It'll be warm. I'm going to add ground cinnamon. That was half a teaspoon of cinnamon. There we go. Okay, I need baking soda. Now that might be a problem because I used some of that too. Well, I might have to see if I got some baking soda. Here somewhere. Well, I usually have some extra baking soda, but I used it all up for another cake. So how are we going to do this? Let's see. All right, now you can also add walnuts, raisins, or something like that to taste if you want. Or like the difference between a banana nut bread and banana bread. The only thing that's different is you add 1 cup of chopped walnuts. So let's see if I've got baking soda in my cupboard. Sometimes I don't. I had a bunch of baking soda to add to my, now did I add salt? I didn't add any salt. I wanted to add a little bit of salt and maybe that'll take the place of the. And I use Himalayan pink salt because it's got all the minerals and everything in it still. So it said 1 teaspoon. So this is kind of a heaping teaspoon. So I'm going to put it in there. So that's the equivalent of 2 teaspoons. And last but not least, I guess I don't have any soda. Oh, well, it'll be okay. We'll figure it out. We got the baking powder and we got the salt, so that's good. Okay, so now it's all good. Let's just turn it on and let's see what happens. Like I say, if you want to have if you've got a mixer or something you want to do, like just a bowl with a whisk or a spoon, you can do that as well.